All right, it appears President Trump is going to take a brief hiatus in his criticism of Robert Mueller's witch hunt. The president tweeted earlier, "I'm headed to Canada for the G7 for talks that will mostly center on the long-time unfair trade practices against the United States. From there, I go to Singapore and talks with North Korea on the denuclearization, of course, of the Korean Peninsula. Won't be talking about the Russia witch hunt hoax for a while." Here with reaction to the upcoming IG report and Mueller's ongoing witch hunt, former Clinton pollster and advisor Mark Penn, attorney Victoria Toensing, David Limbaugh. Well, I got to say about David and Victoria and pretty much everybody, I have the best lawyers in the world. They've done legal work for me, because if I don't say it every time, the left-wing media has a heart attack over nothing. But good to see you all. David Limbaugh, let me start with you. We know crimes were committed here. Now the president is moving into the opportunity to make some significant changes that will impact the entire world, our kids and grandkids. But the witch hunt continues. Smart of him to just let it go for a while?
Yeah, I think that the media will never let it go, and Trump can re-enter the fray anytime he wants to. I think people have underestimated Trump on foreign policy and treat him as a comic book player. I admit, I'm surprised that he is as good as he is. You know, when he made that comment on foreign policy, when he made that comment about not preparing, what he meant was he has negotiated all his life. He didn't mean he wasn't going to bone up on North Korea, South Korea, and U.S. history. And, you know, I'm so impressed.
He said he was preparing his whole life.
Yeah, and look at the way he's a realist. He's willing to walk away. Look how calm he is. He doesn't, when he belittles Rocket Man when he needs to, but otherwise, he's very serious, and he's enticed him. I think Trump is seen as a capitalist. Yeah. I think Kim Jong-un is in worse shape than he's ever been in, and he's enticed by the prospect of China and the United States helping him rebuild his dark, dark country.
Is he starting to purge some of the old holdovers that, you know, would be so rigid against change? Let me go to the IG report, another big story. And look, you're a longtime Clinton pollster, Mark. You've been there. You've been critical. David and Victoria will tell you that Hillary violated multiple laws, server, literally having top secret classified special access program information on she mishandled it, destroyed it, covered up, obstructed after subpoenaed deletions and all that. Do you agree with that? Because that's what I think, that if we know the truth, that's what the IG should say. How do you feel about it, having worked for them so long?
You know, first, let me say on the eve of these summits, I hope the president will have discipline with his Twitter account. I hope Giuliani will have discipline. I hope Schumer and Pelosi will have discipline, so that we as a country speak with one voice against a dictator for something that can affect all of our children for a couple of days. And I think it will require that kind of discipline. Now, when this report comes out a couple of days later, this report is actually not going to be about the Clintons. It is not going to be about whether the Clintons did or did not commit anything.
How was it handled or mishandled?
Well, yes, but it's really about whether the FBI did its job properly or improperly. That's what this report's going to be about, and I think that's what we're going to have to take away from this, because that will tell us if they didn't carry out that investigation fairly, what makes you think that they carried out the Trump-Russia investigation fairly?
And you've been very outspoken and critical as a Democrat, and I got to give you credit, because this is bad for the country, and this can't stand.
Well, you know, because I think our Constitution is being stepped on, Sean, and we really have to be on guard here that presidents can do their job without the constant threat of investigations for everybody in their administration, for everybody in a campaign that go on without end, because I can tell you, I've been there. I was with the president in '98. It did not help the country that we wasted a year on that. It did not help the country that we wasted a year on this. And we shouldn't be wasting another year in the absence of really compelling evidence, which we have not in any respect seen.
Let me go to you, Victoria. I think the evidence is incontrovertible, but Mark is right. The report will deal mostly with the investigation, but there were underlying crimes. The facts are not even in dispute. James Comey laid them out 2 days after they interviewed Hillary, but they were writing the exoneration months before. What do you expect, and how should this be handled if, in fact, crimes were committed and then the investigation rigged?
Well, Sean, I'm going to tell you what I'm more concerned about is this Trump collusion investigation that's just a mockery, and how the Republicans are failing us. The Republicans in Congress are not doing their job. I have some very good sources. And let me tell you that Speaker Ryan and Trey Gowdy decided that it was not in the Republicans' moderates' interests for the fall election that it was bad politics to be at odds with the Justice Department and the Democrats on the 2016 election. So they decided they were going to tamp it down. And when Trey Gowdy came on Fox and said, well, when the FBI heard what they heard, then they did exactly what we all hoped they would do. No, he was tamping it down, and they were not doing what we hoped they'd do because they did not follow protocol. They're supposed to go to the American and say, hey, do you know that you're being targeted by the Russians? But not only that, Trey Gowdy said that without any other knowledge whatsoever. And do you know why, Sean? Because they haven't gotten the documents.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? Yesterday, they were supposed to be delivered, the documents, by DOJ, and they got snookered because the DOJ backed off. And they backed off. Why did they do it? Because they want to put them out next week when we have the NoKo.
Oh, they want to put it out on Tuesday.
They want it buried with the IG report. The Republicans got snookered being nice. Just like you said, you can't suck up to your adversaries.
All right, good to see you all. Thank you. Important information from all of you.